Hi everybody, it's Clayton Smith here. I've got with me Cody Kelly from JPL Home Buyers. Cody is an investor here in Edmonton, and we just decided to get together here this morning, have a little bit of a chat. And as always, these things are never scripted, so we'll just set the recorder up and see where the conversation goes. So, Cody, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Great to have you.
Excited to be here.
Just wanted to start the chat off by saying, well, let's get to know you a little bit and what you're into and what you're doing now, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. So I'm into all kinds of things. I've been a full-time real estate investor for about a year and a half now. I started with a flipping business. So I have a flipping business that I grew last year that flips homes. I did 10 homes last year.
Nice.
I would never recommend anybody to do that. Because it was a lot of work, but we got them all done. We just actually sold the last one for asking price, so things are moving good on that, but that was where I started out. I also got a bunch of rentals through that. I have an 8-plex going up in Beaumont. I have now joined JPL, which is a wholesaling company, so we're looking to expand that as well, and it's actually going very well so far. We're doing Alberta, Edmonton, Red Deer, and Calgary, but we're also expanding to Kelowna at the moment, and we're going to go east eventually. I have somebody in Montreal that wants to jump on board that as well. So
cool. So how did you get into real estate investing? How did you get into the flipping business and all that? What's your story there?
A really neat story. So 2.5 years ago, or almost 3 years ago now, my business partner and we bought our first condo and a rental. We just had some extra money. Thought, you know what? I know real estate's a good way to go. Let's go buy something. So we bought one. Then from there, I was getting my hair cut, and my hairdresser was telling me about a guy that flips homes and made $100,000. And I thought, I could do that. And I started looking into it. Ended up joining a mentorship program, and then here I am today.
Okay, and what were you doing before real estate?
I was a manager for Van Hook Coffee.
Oh, okay.
So they do office coffee. I was managing, through COVID, I was managing Edmonton, Red Deer, and Lloyd. Yep. Highly involved in running Edmonton for many years before that. I also have a business management diploma. So one thing that I know how to do is grow businesses.
Oh, okay.
One thing that I don't like to do is manage businesses. So I have partners that I bring on to do, the stuff that kind of doesn't suit my skill set, and I focus on growth.
Oh, okay. And so your latest venture now, so now you've joined up with JPL Home Buyers?
Yep.
And so what's your role with them?
So right now I'm technically a commission contractor. We did that for just basically for both our securities. So we set it up as like a 6-month thing as a commission contractor, and then I'll get a partnership after that. But we wanted to make sure that the relationship was good on both sides, right. So that way both of us had an out before we actually signed something that says, yeah, I'm part of the company.
Kind of moving in together before getting married.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So when his lawyer actually recommended that, and I looked over that and I thought that's a great idea. I'd prefer that as well.
Yeah. It's important to make sure everybody's a good fit when you're getting into business together. What are you looking for going forward here?
So my goal at the beginning of last year was to basically retire in 2 years.
Oh, okay.
So that's the end of 2024.
Okay.
Now when I say retire, it doesn't mean not do anything.
Yeah.
That's not the way I look at it. But the way I look at it is at the point where I don't need to focus on growth anymore. I have a couple businesses running that have income coming in, that have sufficient income to cover mine and my partner's expenses, so that we can basically live off those businesses. Most likely I'll go and grow some more businesses after that. I'm always looking to do something. I have a list of about 10 other business ideas that I want to grow sitting in my phone. But I want to be at the point where I don't need to focus on growth. So at the moment, I'm doing very well, but I can tell you most days from the time I get up to the time I go to bed, I'm doing real estate.
Okay.
So, if people look at kind of what I've done, and even last year as I was going through the mentorship program, people were jumping on board saying, I want to do what Cody does. Once most people realized what it took to do what I was doing, they realized that, number one, they couldn't do it with a job, and number two, it's very hard to do with a family as well.
So describe some of that. So go a little deeper into some of those challenges that you said that most people tend to realize after they
so
start to get into the nitty-gritty.
Even to put the time in that I need, there's so many different strategies, and there's lots of easy strategies. If you just want to get some retirement, have something for your kids, go buy some rental properties. Anybody can do that. You can do that with a full-time job. It's very easy. You know, everybody says wholesaling, for example. They say wholesaling takes no money. That's a load of shit.
Yeah.
Because if you want to grow a wholesaling business, then yes, it takes money to grow. You know, it's flyers, it's ad campaigns, it's websites, it's mail outs, it's all that kind of stuff, right? So it all costs money. You want to go sit and knock on doors? Yeah, you could make it. You could get a deal.
Yeah.
But that's going to take a ton of time. Where I've showed other people kind of how to grow wholesaling businesses through the past 6 months, because I understand the theories, I understand how it all works, right? So I've helped other people do it. And when I decided that I was going to jump on this, what I did is the first 2 weeks I met with every wholesaler I knew, and I found some that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Asked them what works, what doesn't work, and then I went hard and I started going at it. And so far we've already closed 4 deals this year. We got 2 or 3 more that we're very close to closing. Some of them are multiple properties on each deal. So, you know, a lot of times you'll talk to new wholesalers and they'll say it takes 3 to 6 months to get a deal, where I had a deal within 2 weeks. But I put the work in.
Right. So describe some of that. So you said you talked to a whole bunch of wholesalers.
Yeah.
And found out what works, what didn't work. What are some of the things that you could share that might help somebody that's getting started in wholesaling, or maybe might stop them from getting into it?
Yeah, so, you know, I would say, you know, if anybody is looking to get into wholesaling, reach out to me. I'm always happy to grab a coffee and give you guys some pointers. But, you know, the way the flyers are written is a big one. So we have a very unique way that we write them that actually gets to the homeowner, that gets past the renter and gets to the homeowner.
Oh, okay.
The other part of it is because I have a partner, Tiana, so by having a female that answers the phone, a female name on the letter, it definitely helps. You know, even just having her there when we go to do meetings, it brings people in. It gets them to trust us a little easier, a little quicker, you know, just by that little aspect. One other thing that a neat situation that happened to me is, for me, dogs for some reason love me. And they say that tells a lot about if you can trust a person. I went into a home and there was these 2 little yappy dogs. You know, I walked in there, they're sitting there, yap, 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 right? Within less than 5 minutes, there was no more barking. They're at my feet, you know, I'm petting them. They're kind of like lying down beside me. And I was there for an hour talking to the homeowner. At the end of it, the homeowner, he says, I got friends that have known these dogs for years and they never stop barking. He says, I cannot believe that they're just sitting there at your feet. And he's actually the one that said, you know, they say that dogs tell you who you can trust.
Okay.
So yeah, like just little things like that definitely helps me. But yeah, as far as like some other tips, you know, like Facebook ads, and there's other things that will work. And there's also other ways to get a hold of sellers. So there's a lot of people that maybe are not looking to sell, but they will sell if you ask them.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you gotta share a little more on that.
So, you know, there's lots of people that are landlords, basically. If you can reach out to landlords, if you can reach out to, like for sale by owner are ones that are already looking to sell. But yeah, a big one is landlords. If you can find a way to connect to landlords and just say, hey, you know what, I know that you're looking for a tenant right now, for example. Would you be interested in selling? I'm looking to buy more properties. And I've got quite a few good leads from that.
Yeah. Well, it's the old saying, every property's for sale.
Yeah.
At the right price, maybe, or the right terms, but every property's for sale. So yeah, that's a good one.
So we're also in a very unique situation right now that a lot of things are going for multiple offers and over asking.
Yeah.
So when you bring an off-market deal to people, they're ready to jump on them.
Now, the people you're bringing it to, how do you know where you're going to pass the deal on to?
So we did some different things to try and grow our buyers list. One of the things that we did was we did online advertising through Instagram and Facebook, and we gave away $100 to try and get followers that way, and then get the followers on our buyers.
I was one of your followers for that contest too.
So we did a Christmas Carol with JPL. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but that was just something totally unique. We used ChatGPT to write the Christmas Carol, and then we actually recorded a video of us caroling at someone's house,
all right,
and sung this JPL Christmas Carol. So it was just something really unique that we thought would bring people into our page, and it did. We increased our followers. I think we started at 18. We were at like 235 by the end of the month. Our buyers list now is over 300 buyers. So it's, again, all that stuff, you got to grow. But as well, the unique opportunity that I have. So I've done some wholesaling in the past, and I've done wholesaling because it fell into my lap.
Oh, okay. How so?
So one of them was I was doing a flip, and somebody drove by the flip, went in and asked the contractor for my phone number. He phoned me up and he says, "Hey, Cody, we got this flip. We ran out of money. Do you want it?" I drove down there. Didn't really want to take it on at the time, but I said, "Give me 24 hours. Let me see what I can do."
Yeah.
I wholesaled it, showed it to 2 people, wholesaled it the next day.
Ah, good.
So like situations like that, or I've had other people that have had deals that they couldn't sell and they've asked me to help them out. Because I have such a large following on Instagram and Facebook, I post it on my page and I get lots of people messaging me right away.
Oh, okay.
So, there's reasons that it's easier for me to do what I can do now, and it's because I've spent the last year building that brand.
You've taken the time to build it up. Okay. What are your thoughts on where the market's at right now? Now you mentioned that you've had a pretty good couple of months here.
Yeah.
Have you noticed a shift just in recent months, or what's your sense on where things are going here in Edmonton?
Yeah.
Right?
So there's a very big shift that has happened and that is coming. I was actually an expert panelist on one of Calvin's tours later on in the fall of last year, and one of the things that he wrote about me is that my strategic mindset. Now I can kind of read the market. What I see is a pretty big increase coming by spring. I think that's going to be fueled by investors, and we're already seeing that because we're already seeing over asking values or over asking offers, right? And what's going to happen as soon as we start to see interest rate drops, which is probably the summer, at that time, I think we're going to start to see homeowners go, shit, we need to get into the market, we need to go buy a home, and they're going to start to rush in.
Right.
And that's going to increase the value. I would say my prediction is within 2 years, we're going to see a 30% increase. I actually think that it's going to be a lot more than that. I think 30% guaranteed. There's no doubt about that. We're going to see a 30% increase in 2 years in housing prices here. But personally, I believe it's going to be more than that.
Okay. Well, we have seen that movie before, about 20 years ago.
We have.
Where we had this slow burn, and then all of a sudden everything took off in about 2005.
So 2003 to 2007, housing prices doubled in Edmonton.
Right.
And if you look at the migration and the immigration patterns, we're 4 times that amount right now.
Yeah.
And yet the housing prices have not jumped.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I can see holding it back is the interest rate.
Now, there's been a lot of talk, and you hear a lot of people that have a lot of opinions on where interest rates are going. Now, you mentioned that you expect interest rates to drop by the summer. What's your thought behind that? Why the interest rates will drop?
So there's a couple key things. The biggest impact that I see is that the government loans are coming to term for shit. The government doesn't want to pay those high interest, and they've released. There's been articles about it. Trudeau just went on the media like last week or the week before and said that the interest rates need to come down now because inflation's coming down. Now he says I can't affect policy. Him going up there and saying that affects policy, right? It's gonna push the Bank of Canada to try and lower rates faster. There's been a lot of speculation on different terms on where it's gonna go. Like TD announced, they figure it's gonna go down 1.5% this year and 1% next year. I think that might be a little extreme.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening that fast, but I do believe probably somewhere around a 2% drop in the next 2 years, and it's probably going to settle there. Like we're not going to see the rates that we had 5 years ago, where it was down to nothing.
Yeah, and down to almost nothing. Yeah.
That's not happening. But
so now, what are your thoughts on if rates don't drop? So if they just stay flat, or we still continue to see inflation going up, and they say, you know what, people, we might have to put rates up. What are your thoughts on what's going to happen in the market overall then?
It will probably stay stagnant.
Yeah.
But the thing with the Alberta market is it's very unique. When the rest of the country does poorly, Alberta does well. That's usually how it happens if you look at the history. And because of that, like, you got less jobs, you got high housing prices in Vancouver's and Toronto's, right? Where we have the lowest cost of living here, we have the highest salaries. People are flocking here, and they will continue to flock here just like they did in the past. Yeah, as long as we have jobs to support it.
Right.
Right. But now the fact that people can work from anywhere, the jobs don't even need to be here.
Right. And you've got lower cost of living here than in other places, and so it's, the case is there for people to continue the migration. I mean, the latest numbers that we've seen prove it. You look at the in-migration numbers from the rest of the country, and people are moving here. Mm-hmm. So seems like even if interest rates stay flat, the housing costs here in Alberta relative to other parts of the country are still quite significantly low, and you have higher income, generally speaking. So
I'm sure it's still going to go up. We're already seeing. Look at Calgary. I think it was like an 8 or 9% increase.
Calgary had a big lift last year,
and you look this year, it's going to be the same thing. Just last Thursday, actually at midnight last Thursday, I put an offer in on a place in Calgary. I was out celebrating my wins and out drinking, and I got home, and Tiana actually called me and says, "Hey, this house popped up. I think it's perfect." So we put an offer in at midnight that night. We didn't get that house. It went over asking, which was kind of expected, but I wanted to test the market and see what we could do.
And are you finding deals on MLS, or are you mostly private deals that you're finding?
Pretty much all my deals I got on the MLS.
Oh, okay.
So as long as you have a good realtor and you know how to write offers, you can win offers on the MLS and you can find good deals.
Okay. Now that brings me to another thought then. So that leads me to some interesting questions there on how you write offers then and how you present a deal. So are there secrets that you can divulge on that?
So the biggest thing is unconditional. Normally, there's two ways that I've done it in the past. Okay, the way I was doing it at the beginning when we were able to book conditions is I wouldn't even go look at properties. I would just write offers. I would put an inspection condition, and if I won the offer, then I'd go look at it. Worst case scenario, it cost me $400 to $500 for an inspection, and I get there and I don't want it and I walk away. That only happened to me once.
Okay.
So that was what I did before. Now what I do is write unconditional offers, and I usually can kind of read it pretty close to know where the number should be. But I also never put an exact dollar amount. So I can never put $150,000, for example. There's some psychology behind that.
All right.
You want the numbers to all be different. So if it's like 147, 362, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Because when buyers see that or sellers see that, they go, this guy put some effort into figuring out this number that he wants to buy.
You're sitting there punching the numbers in, and yeah.
So that definitely helps. I was talking to someone that wants to get into flipping yesterday, and right now it's almost impossible. If you're new, if you're not ready to go unconditional, if you can't move quickly, you're probably not getting a flip right now in Edmonton. And, the other side of it is there's listings even that are on the MLS that people see before they even get there. Right? So by the time that happens, then there's already offers in on it. I had one sent to me from Calgary yesterday that going live next week.
Yeah.
So it's, people know, especially when you put yourself out there and you tell people what you're looking for. Realtors want to close fast. They don't want to waste time.
Yeah.
So if they know this is something you're looking for, they'll phone you up and go, "Hey, Cody, I got a place for you. Do you want it?"
And then you put your offer in and go from there. Now, when it comes to making unconditional offers, this is not something that just anybody could do. Nor should it.
I would not recommend any new investor do it.
Good to have that disclaimer in there.
So it's a risk, and like flips are a risk. As flips are the most risky strategy there is. I have lost money on a deal, but I knew that going into it.
But dude, everybody makes money in real estate.
No, they don't.
It only goes up. You can't lose money in real estate.
Yeah, okay. If you buy rental properties and you keep holding on to them, you won't lose money.
You rent it forever.
Yep, you won't lose.
Never
money.
sell it.
Yeah. So just it will go up. Real estate always goes up. You just got to wait it out.
Yeah.
The challenge with flips is you got to be fast and you got to be cheap, right? And you got to get in and out of the market before the market shifts. That's what I didn't do. That's why I lost money on it.
This sounds familiar. I've done this before too.
Yeah. So, but again, I knew the risk going into it. And so, when I started with my business partner, I told him, we're going to lose money. He goes, what? I don't want to lose money. I said, just prepare yourself now. Like, we're doing 10 flips this year. The chances the chances of something happening is very high. And it did. So, but in the big scheme of things, I just look at it as a learning lesson.
Right.
And I look at money very differently than most people. And in my mind, when I say this, it kind of sounds cocky. I don't mean it to be like that, but the way I look at it is I'm going to go make some more money. There's so many ways to make money in real estate or in anything else nowadays that if I have a loss, I just go make some more money.
So that kind of gives a little hint on as far as your mindset when it comes to money. How would you describe the mindset you have when it comes to money, when it comes to your business and your overall outlook on things?
So, number one, you need money to make money. Doesn't have to be your own money. There's banks, there's line of credits, there's investors, there's all kinds of things. But, I did put money in my first deal. I don't put money in my deals anymore. I'm confident that I have the ability to say that. And because I'm bringing a lot to the game. I'm finding the deals. I'm showing them how to run the deals. I'm managing the properties or whatever it is. I'm confident that my ability shows itself that I don't need to put money in deals. So, but yeah, as far as money goes, I should probably spend less. But on the other side of it, I want to make sure that I'm enjoying life as much as working in life.
All right.
For the last 16 years when I was at my other job, I worked to get a higher position. I worked to get a higher salary. I was doing really good. I had a great job. I got paid really good money. And I had a big house. And in the big scheme of things, none of it made me happy. And I realized that. So, one of the things I did, like I got a divorce last year as well. And I kind of just started working out every day. I just kind of reset my life and realized, okay, what I'm doing was not what I wanted to do, and I need to do something where I'm going to be happy. So even though I work my ass off every day, I love this. I would not want to do anything else. It's so much fun. It's not for everybody, but it's so much fun. And as well, like even with the house that I had, like I was talking to my mentor, and he had like a cook, and he had someone that comes in and cleans the house and does the laundry and picks the dog poop up and all these things. And I asked him, like, what does that cost you per month? And he says, about $5,000 for all my expenses. And I said, I'm paying $5,000 a month, and I don't have none of that. And he said, well, look at the size of your house. And I said, you're right. I sold it. So I'm in a townhouse in Leduc right now. I'm actually thinking that I should move to a condo downtown. That's the next step that I'm going.
I've got one for you.
Do you? Okay, well. Yeah, so that's the next step. Something even like this place that we're in right now, beautiful place in the lobby. They got a gym here that you get, and the underground heated parkade is the one thing that I really like.
In this climate, I think that you got to have that.
Yeah.
There's these small luxuries that a person's got to have.
Yeah, so, but also, by doing that, I lowered my expenses so much that now I can go travel and I can go do other things that I want to do. And to me, that's more important than having a big house that I'm never home anyway, so why have it?
Well, and that reminds me of, I'm sure you read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
I've not read it, but I know the book.
Yet? Okay.
Yeah.
In the book there, he, and there's a few other people too, I think Cardone says the same thing about that people, their thought is that people shouldn't actually own their own home. That they should actually rent their own home, but buy real estate and then rent that out and generate the money that way. What are your thoughts on a concept like that?
So I actually agree with that. And there's a few reasons for that. It all depends on your home life and everything else that you have. Like, there's a lot of aspects. But for me, to be able to rent and just move quickly, and get out what I need to get out is really easy. And just kind of go where I need to be. Like if I wasn't doing this, then I'd be house hacking and maybe have like a basement suite or something like that I would be living in and renting the upstairs. So I still got money coming in from it. But yeah, I don't really think that you need to own a home. The other challenge is if you're doing this full time, number one, it's hard to own a home. I can't get mortgages under my name yet.
Okay.
So, and, you know, even the way we do our taxes, we try to put our income as low as possible. A lot of the things that we do are a tax write-off.
Right.
So, you know, it's difficult to get qualified for a mortgage for your own home. As well, it's difficult to find a rental. So I had, my roommate and I are both full-time real estate investors. We even had friends that were the landlords that I went to and applied to, and we did not get the home.
Right.
And it ended up, the one that we're in right now, well, I ended up basically just sending her my bank statement, and the test center is, and it's like, okay, like, you know, we got the money. Like, that's not the issue here. So we were able to get it, but that was a big challenge. When you go in and say, yeah, I got no income I can show you. I don't got a statement. You know, I got money coming in here and there. It's up and down every month, right? Depending on when we sell a property, when we close a deal, when whatever it is, right? So there's
people think you're either into real estate or you're a drug dealer. One or the other.
On the other side of that, though, is when I'm renting out my own properties, I understand that, and I've had people come to me with same thing, self-employed, and I say, yeah, you know, show me your income over like 3 or 6 months. Like, just show me the spikes and the highs and the lows and everything, and I have no problem renting them. So yeah, it kind of helps me on both sides, but definitely challenging when you're a full-time investor.
Yeah. Now, interesting that you went through that call it a journey of, you know, you had this, you know, had kind of a, you know, expensive lifestyle, we'll call it, and then you saw the need to downsize it, and you also, it sounds like you got a little more freedom and liberty in some ways by downsizing. So you weren't necessarily tied down to an expensive home anymore. And then, like you said, you could travel some more.
Yeah.
That's something that I try to tell my kids that too. You know, don't get too trapped in an expensive lifestyle, because then your choices are, you know, you're limited in your choices really when you get trapped in that expensive lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I started doing real estate when I was 33, I guess now. If I would have known what I know now and started when I was 20, and this is for any child or any teenager that's growing up right now, there's so many ways to make money. If you're smart and you start when you're 20 and you save and you invest, by the time you're 30, you can live your life, and you can live whatever life you want to live if you're smart for those 10 years.
Now, what's a way that kids can get smart? Kids that are 20. So I'm thinking my own kids, you know, they're younger 20s than that. What are some ideas for them? Because they won't listen to me, but maybe they'll listen to somebody else that's found some success.
So, you know, the biggest thing to say is, I'd say look around and see what people are doing. Like, there's Amazon stores, there's TikTok and Instagram. And as much as maybe the older generation kind of laughs at TikTok and Instagram, there's a ton of money to be made there.
People on there.
And there's a lot of money to be made there.
Yeah.
So where I see the future going is, I think the doctors and lawyers that we have 10 years from now are all going to be foreigners that come in and go to school here or go to school there and upgrade here and take all those positions. Because what I believe is we're going to see a lot of people that are growing up in this era, and they're going to go, you know what, do I spend $80,000 on schooling and 8 years of my life or 7 years to be a lawyer and a doctor? Or do I go spend $20,000 to set up some business or some other way of making money, and all of a sudden, boom, right? You're growing on that.
Yeah. And what's a simple way to make money in your opinion? Like, if you were to decide, do you go into real estate flipping houses, or do you start up, fill in the blank, whatever the business is? What do you, from your business management background?
So whatever it is, real estate is a tool. That really, like any real estate strategy, is a tool. And it can all be done with no money if you know how to do it properly. But by saying that, you probably need to pay for some education to be able to do it with no money. So never be scared to spend money on education. I spent $10K on my first mentorship program, and I bought another mentorship program for $5K as well. None of those scared me. I put the money in. The first deal, you made your money back, and away you go, right? But so back to the business thing. So real estate is a tool for you to build a business. With anything that you do, whether it be Airbnbs or flipping or anything, you shouldn't just try and do one. You should figure it out and grow it into a business. And the best thing to do is grow it into a business that either runs on its own or that you can sell. So I would say do that exact same thing. So I met a young teenager just this past weekend, and he has an idea for a clothing line. I told him how to do it. It's very easy to start a clothing line. Yeah. He already has followers on Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. You can go on websites. You can design your own clothing line. They'll hold it all there. They'll ship directly from their factories right to your clients. You don't need to have any inventory. You don't need to have any storage. You don't need to have none of that stuff.
Yeah.
You can set it all up. You can put it on Amazon. You can put it on Etsy, and then you just do the advertising, and away you go.
Now, for people that don't have that many followers, let's say maybe they've got 100 or whatever, low numbers of followers, is there a way that they could use like paid ads not to expand that following or expand their reach somehow so they can money on?
The easier way to do it is just get out there and talk to people. So we get followers all the time, just from literally. And what I tell people when people tell me, how do I find investors in real estate? I say talk to everybody about real estate. Every single place I go, I talk to people about real estate. And same thing. So when you're out there, you're sitting at a coffee shop, you go to a sporting event, you go to anything, start by posting some content that people are going to want to see. And then when you got somebody sitting next to you, have a conversation. Hey, why don't you follow me on Instagram? What's your Instagram? Right? You follow them, they'll follow you back. Away you go.
There was something you said a while back when it comes to retirement.
Yep.
And I wanted to come back to that. When it comes to retirement, people think of, kind of their long-term vision or their long-term goal or something like that. What is it about the idea of retirement, or what do you have pictured there that kind of, I guess it kind of develops your why? Why you get excited every morning that you're coming out to do some real estate or to come out and meet with people. So can you dive into that a little bit?
Yeah. So two things I want to do. Number one, travel. And number two, have a family someday, right? So I don't see children as something that's going to hold you back in life. And whether that be for anything, a lot of people say, oh, when I can't travel once I have kids. I can't go skiing anymore once I have kids. I can't. Why can't you?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Why don't you teach your kids how to ski? Yeah. Bring them along with you. Get them to do all the fun things that you do. Get them to do it with you. And give them the life, show them the life that they can have from the hard work that I put in, and they'll put in the hard work too.
Right, it kind of gives an example for their own when they're figuring out things for themselves.
So it just that's the big thing, is just have a business that has income coming in, so I can enjoy life. I bought a motorcycle this year. I'm gonna get my license to be able to skydive myself next year. So I went skydiving a couple times this year. I'm gonna go get my license next year. Yeah. Would love to maybe go to Hawaii or something like that, jump out of a plane. Like, if you've never been skydiving, you need to do it. It is the most freeing experience you'll ever have. I can't even explain the feeling to you because you need to feel it. But the one thing I can tell you is if you have a fear of heights, it doesn't matter. Because you don't see the ground, there's no fear of heights up there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've thought of that before, because I would not consider myself a lover of heights. And I know I had a construction job years and years ago, one of my first jobs, and you have to go up on the roof, or you got to crawl around on the top plate of a wall, and that it's like, didn't like it. And I thought that jumping out of a plane is a little different. And I've been in places like the top of a building and that, but you got a railing, or you've got something to hang on to, and it's just different. So I could see that. Yeah, if you got your feet on a plane.
So, and I am scared of heights as well. Like, if I look over a tall building, you get that like gut-wrenching feeling, right?
That feeling,
yeah. Where when the back of that plane opens, all you see is the horizon, and you just walk out and go. Man, it's a feeling that I just love.
Well, this is I like talking about this with people, just on kind of what they want to get out of life. There's all the business you can do, there's all the tactics and all the strategies and all that, but really you're doing it for a reason. Like, you want to get somewhere in life, you want to do something with your life. And do you ever do this exercise every now and then? I imagine you do, where you're just kind of brainstorming, you're just kind of thinking of things, new ideas that you want to do, new places to travel, and things like that. What are some of the things that you, when you're not thinking real estate, what do you lie there awake at night thinking of or dreaming of?
I think a lot about real estate. The one thing that I've also learned is that you cannot predict where you're going to be a year from now, and you cannot predict what your dreams and aspirations are going to be either. Because the dreams and aspirations that I had a year ago are totally different now. A year ago, I said I want to get up every morning and go golfing every day. And now, with my active lifestyle and everything, I don't actually think I could go to the golf course every day in the morning and play 4 hours of golf. I still love to golf, but I don't think I could do it every day.
Yeah.
So to me, it's more like I want to do things that I've never done before. One of the things, we met some guys that are climbing to the base camp of Everest.
Okay.
I'm 100% on board with doing that.
Yeah.
So we've been in contact with them where they're supposed to go do it sometime this year. So that might be something that I go do. But, scuba diving has always kind of scared me. I'm still going to try it.
Yeah.
On my mirror at home, I have written on top of it, no fear. Like, I do not live my life in fear. And I don't think anybody should. Because it's all about risk mitigation.
Okay.
So understand the risks. I'm not saying to go do something stupid. Even with everything I do in real estate, it's all about risk mitigation. I take some big risks compared to what a lot of other people do, but I've already run the numbers down and I understand, okay, what's the worst case scenario here? Same with skydiving. So I talk to somebody that skydives all the time. You don't die from skydiving. If you look at the people that die from skydiving, it's the ones that they're trying to do tricks and stuff when they hit the ground and they hit wrong or like things like that. If you just jump out of a plane attached to somebody, there's no risk involved in it. Everybody says, "Oh, what about the parachute? What about?" They got backup parachutes. They've been doing this for years. Like this, they got this down to an art.
Yeah.
Right. So that, and as far as anything else, like anything that I'm scared of, I drove down to North Vancouver to go to an art opening to go and try and find money.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I know nothing about art.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident I can walk into a room, I can go talk to people, especially a real estate room. I can go walk around, talk to everybody. It doesn't bother me one bit. I can tell you I was a little nervous walking into this art opening.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't something that I've ever done before.
Your comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah. So you know what? I stood outside before I went in there and I took some deep breaths and like, hey, Cody, here we go.
Yeah.
Away I went. And I ended up finding a really good investor that night.
Okay.
Learned a bunch about art. Got a couple business ideas as well. I met with an artist that is looking to do, when you build a new building, they basically have an art budget that's already built in.
Okay, right.
So what they need is a curator to go find art to put in that building. And so...
Sounds like another business idea here coming up. Yeah.
So he came to me and he told me, and then this happens so often to me, where he spit this idea out, and I said, okay, here's how you do it. You need to do this. This is how you go talk to people. This is how you find the people that you need to speak with. And he goes, oh, well, that's probably easy for you, but I don't think I can do that. I said, well, I'm opening to partner with you on it. And that's one thing that I found is, even when I'm looking for money, okay, I meet with people all the time. I never go into a meeting looking for money. I always go into a meeting looking for opportunities. And for the most part, I'll meet with people and I'll tell them, here's how you do it. You don't need me, especially like buying a rental property. I tell people all the time, you don't need me. Here's how you do it. Here's where you find the information. Many times they'll tell me, no, I don't think I can do it on my own. Would you partner with me? And of course I will. I have no problem doing that.
Sure. They're willing to pay for that implementation process.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things I just started doing, I've been doing it kind of for a while, but I haven't actually been posting or advertising or anything like that. I do one-on-one coaching, so #CoachMeCody. A lot of the coaching that's out there is all group coaching, right? So with group coaching, you get like one session a week. Some of these programs, you get online training, you get all kinds of other things. So depending on what you want, some of these big mentorship programs are perfect because they give you a bunch of like online stuff that you can go do and learn about different strategies. But for people that just want to do one strategy, they want to learn how to buy a rental property, okay, you know what, you can just pay me a fee. I'll literally walk you through the entire process and, hold your hand kind of thing, right? Yeah. Same with flips. I do the same for flips. So I find that a lot of people join those big programs, and if they don't really have somebody pushing them or holding their hand almost, most people won't do it. Right? They can get all the training in the world, they can have all the knowledge that they need, and they still won't do it.
What are your thoughts on why people won't do it? So you're talking about the one-on-one coaching and the difference that makes. So why is it people don't do it?
Fear is a big thing.
What kind of fear?
Usually it's like a fear of confidence, not having the confidence in themselves, or fear of going and sitting down and talking to strangers. Me with the confidence that I have no issue doing that stuff. So that's why I'm able to succeed, and I'm able to talk confidently about what it is that I do and what I bring to the table. That's a big challenge.
That value proposition that you believe in, that you built up then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a big challenge for a lot of people. Time is another challenge for people. But here's an interesting stat that somebody said to me, and it kind of clicked and made sense. So there's about 95% of the people that get into real estate investing either fall off or they don't do very much. Like somebody that can get to a point where I'm at, where they're doing it full time, that's probably 5% of the people that get into real estate investing. If you break that down to the world level, that's probably like 1% of the world. And somebody said to me, is that why there's 1%ers? And I thought, you know what? That makes total sense.
Yeah.
So yes, there's generational wealth and some other things that keep the dollar value at the top, but a lot of people that are very wealthy have taken a lot of risk. They've started businesses, they've worked hard, and they've got to that point where you got kind of the people in the average that, go to their 8 to 5 and don't want to do anything more, don't have the drive, right? So it's
the comfortable safe path.
Yeah. Look at Ed Milet. There's a video that he did or a presentation he did for eXp Realty. I watched that video. That video changed my life.
Okay.
I've sent it to other people, and it's changed their lives too. It's like where he came from and where he started. He literally had no power, no water, no nothing. He was going down to the shower on the beach to shower when he was starting out.
Oh yeah.
And look at where he is now.
Yeah.
Because it didn't stop him. He didn't even have, someone stole his passenger seat out of his vehicle. He put a paving stone down for the people to sit on when they rode in his vehicle. So it's like you hear stories like that, and you look where he is now, and that just tells you anybody can do it. You just need to have the drive and put the work in. And a lot of people don't have the drive or are able to do the work.
A lot of people want something, but it's like, I guess it comes down to how bad do you want it.
Yeah.
So how bad do you, like, what was it for you? Like, did you get to a point where you had to do it, or is it just, it seems like there's more than you just kind of wanted to do it on a whim. There was something pushing you to do it.
So I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur and run my own business. And when I was at the old company for years, we were basically running our own business. We ran the branch like our own business.
Okay.
Once it got corporatized, and we got bought a bunch of times, and the company got bigger and bigger, that went away. And in the end, for me, there was like so many bad decisions that the company made, and I'm very outspoken about them.
Okay.
To my boss, like as I feel, I should be able to tell my boss exactly how I feel. And with any relationship, I do that. Open and honest communication is the way to go. So whether you're my partner or you're my, girlfriend or wife or anything like that, open and honest communication.
Honest dialogue. Yeah.
So that kind of, it made me realize, like, I knew I wanted to start a business. I just didn't really know how to get there, and I had fear. So, even with leaving my previous relationship, I was probably in it longer than what I should have been. And when I ended up leaving, I was talking to a friend, and I was afraid of losing my house. And she laughed at me.
Oh.
And I go, what's so funny? And she says, you weren't afraid of losing your wife? And I go, you know what? And that says something, and it really kind of made me realize. And so now I'm at the point where, okay, so what was holding me back? Fear was holding me back. Fear of the unknown. I was fairly lucky in the position that I'm in, that I ended up getting laid off, and I got a severance package.
Oh, okay.
So that really helped me, and I knew this was something that could work, so I just put everything into it and did it. Where we're at the end of last year is where we kind of thought we'd be at in 10 years, and I did it in a year.
Yeah.
So, but it's, again, I worked my ass off. I did. it was, I put the work in to do it, even with the wholesaling. So, you know, we got 2 deals, and my partner, she's like, well, you know, we got to work harder now. And I says, no, I says, you got Cody fucking Kelly here. I says, we're going to succeed. And she kind of looked at me and says, you know, like, don't be so cocky. And I go, no, like, well, the reason I say that is because I know what needs to be done to succeed, and I know that I'm going to put the work in to do it. So I have no problem being confident that we're going to succeed.
Okay, very good. So just to wrap things up here, any final thoughts, final lessons? It sounds like there was a lot of good nuggets here. And
yeah,
what are some things, some takeaways from our conversation that you would pass on to people, that if there's one thing that they would remember as they go on to their, you know, if they're ready to jump into the entrepreneurial journey, what's something that you would have them keep in mind?
I think before you jump into the entrepreneurial journey, focus on yourself. That's really what people need to do. You know, there's a lot of mental health issues and things like that, and I think that everybody has the ability to, fix is the wrong word, but everybody has the ability to live their best life. They just need to do it. So if something's holding you back from doing that, then fix it. If you hate your job, then go find another job. You know, we all got the golden handcuffs. I had it too.
Yeah.
I had a great salary. I had 5 weeks holidays. My time was my time. I controlled when I was there, when I could go. I even stayed at a company that I didn't like because of that, even though I had another position that had more money and everything, but I didn't have the time. I wasn't able to come and go as I wanted. So I stayed there even though I didn't like it. But there's people that I talk to that, you know, at the end of the day, they're so done. They're so exhausted from their day. They're not happy. You know, and whether that be the relationships they're in or anything like that, I would say focus on yourself first, because if you're not happy and you go and jump into something else like this, it's not going to make you happy, and you're not going to want to keep doing it because you need a drive. You need something to make you put the work in. So before you do anything else, focus on yourself.
Okay. That's a good spot to leave it at there.
Yeah.
Cody, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Cody, how do people get in touch with you?
So Mighty Irish Home Investors on Instagram or Facebook. If you want to join our buyers list as well, it's JPL Home Buyers. But if you reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook, I can, like I said, I'll have coffee, share any of the knowledge you guys want. Always happy to help out, and always happy to help you find deals as well. So.
Okay, great. Cody, thank you again very much
awesome.
for sitting down with me today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye for now.